leadership in this area for so long. I'm just hoping something's going to happen where we can move on one of these proposals, and one of these days we're going to be victorious, because this is just, no one wants to come. They did not run for the Senate to run an employment agency for year after year after year. Senator Butler, you are next. Senator Butler is here with us for a short period of time, so she has a very big interest in moving this along.
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. Ranking Member Fisher, for today's hearing. I'm sure my appearance at today's hearing was a little curious for folks. And not only do I take my service to the committee seriously and to the chamber, but this is actually one of the areas that I am dumbfounded by. And so I've been trying to understand through conversations with my colleagues, committee members, like, how does this work? How do these rules get created? Why do we do it this way? And so to be here and be able to ask questions, hear from people who are actually looking at this objectively with the intention of trying to further enable this body to do the people's work. It was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up, and Senator Klobuchar appropriately characterized. My time here is short, and I want to have as great an impact on in doing the work of the people of California and the people of this country as in an impactful way as I possibly can. That being said, I have not only been dumbfounded, but have reached times of great frustration, trying to understand exactly how to do that. I serve on the Judiciary Committee, where many district courts in California have vacancies and have had long-standing vacancies, and vacancies that truly create a delay in justice for California residents. And so this is not just a exercise in trying to understand the processes of the Senate. It truly is about how do we do the best job that we can for the most people that we can to, in my opinion, further enable the functions of government on behalf of the people who need it most. Here are my questions. There were a set of potential solutions that were outlined in some of the documents and in conversations that I've had with my colleagues, solutions that have been proposed in the past, solutions that have not yet been proposed but are under examination. Mr. Stiff, I just wanted to note there was this sort of question of reducing the number of Senate-confirmed positions, and we've had some conversation and question about that. I'd like to know your thought about Ms. Mattingly's just last comment about reducing the number of positions that go to advice and consent, or could be sort of just left to the executive office to figure out. You talked about a standing question, but when I think about my service on Homeland Security, for example, and our responsibility of oversight on the U.S. Postal Service, there is a board of directors for the U.S. Postal Service, and then there is a Postal Service Commission. Both having, requiring hearings and all the like. So talk to me a little bit about some of those more secondary positions, like the commission that require. How do you respond, or how would you apply your response to Senator Fisher in situations where there potentially are redundancies and positions that have been vacant for a while, and Ms. Mattingly's sort of reference in her last comment? That's a lot, but I'm really just I want to understand how your opinion on standing applies across the spectrum of duties and appointments.
Sure. So the sort of fundamental question, right, is whether there is another appointment method that the Constitution allows for a given position. And so that is answered by determining whether the person we're talking about is a principal officer versus an inferior officer. And I can't speak to any particular position here today, but In the past, the court has determined whether someone is subject to direction and supervision by another principal officer by asking, for example, can they be removed by that other person? Does that other person review and have the ability to revise the decisions they make? Do they exercise other sorts of administrative control, like establishing procedures that the person we're looking at has to follow? So those are all the sorts of direction and supervision questions you would consider if you were looking at a given position to say, can we change the appointment method without running afoul of the appointments clause?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I intend to submit a couple questions to the record for.
Okay, you have an extra one, that's fine.
No, I'll submit them to the
Okay.
record. I know we're trying to move
Yeah,
along
we're trying to
today.
show how we can be efficient in the
Yes.
Senate. Senator Fisher, did you want to ask anything there? Okay, good.